Okay, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to check a wetsuit, just to make sure that it's alright to still be used, isn't too damaged. Yeah. So first things first, we're going to check the overall condition, so just check there's no rips, tears or anything. Because there are no rips and tears, and because wetsuits aren't the same as other PPE, because they're not quite as important, these ones don't seem to have a manufacturing date on the inside. However, you can look back on previous checks to see when was the first time they were checked, so you should check them as they're intaken, and then you'll see when it was made, when it was bought. So, because wetsuits are made out of a fabric material, they should last about 10 years. Yeah. So, when we look at the general condition, there's some like stretching going on with the neoprene, and there's also like some folds and creases, but that doesn't affect the functionality of the wetsuit too much. As I go down, there are a couple like little pulls along here. They're just surface pulls, so the wetsuit still functions perfectly fine. And if you look down at the bottom, that's fine. So now we're going to look more towards the functionality. So does it still work? Now, the only way to check that on a wetsuit is to make sure that the zip still works. So yeah, the zip works just fine, and to make sure that the clip works, which it does. So yeah, next we're going to move on to like the high wear areas, and we're just going to check that they haven't taken too much damage just from being used. So in a wetsuit, that tends to be like under the arms and on the knees, just where the areas are rubbed. Okay, so if we check here, under the arms, there's a very slight amount of frays and pulls, just making the fabric a little bit rougher than it was when it was new. It's the same on the other side as well. But if we go down to the knees, there is there's a little bit of fraying when it comes to the stitches on the knees. That there. But that's okay because it's still holding it together very tightly. Yeah, it's the same on the other side, it's just that top stitch. But nothing there makes it fail, so that's still a to monitor. Another area to check is just around the neck, and that seal is still good. There's no marks or anything on there. So now we're going to check for chemical contamination. So this is just any way that a substance has gone onto the wetsuit and could cause damage. Yeah, that looks fine. There's no damage on there. Nope. So there's a tiny little bit of dirt on the back, just the lower back area, but that's just a little bit of dirt, it will wash off. So next we're going to check for UV damage. Now, UV damage is often shown in the form of fading. So, as you can see here, the wetsuit is still very bright, and that's the same all over. So we can see that there's no UV damage to the wetsuit at all, because it's all the same as the original colour. And that's good, that means that passes that as well. So in conclusion, this wetsuit passes. It does have a couple of things to monitor, like under the arms is a bit rough and the top stitch and the knees are starting to fray a bit, but this wetsuit is still good to be used.